Hello, my name is Aiden Yakub, and I am from Team 21932, Forged in Iron from Flower Mound, Texas, and we are in our third year of competing, and today we've prepared a little presentation about what FIRST is and a little bit of information on kind of the logistics of FIRST, getting set up and a bit of an introduction. So, first of all, what is FIRST? FIRST is a global challenge with a massive community that, everyone kind of joins in and can build super fun robots and compete for awards and things like that. The core values are to focus on discovery, innovation, impact, inclusion, teamwork, and fun. Things like gracious professionalism is uplifting the people around you while you're being competitive, and things like cooperation is working with other people to not only better yourselves but to better everyone else. Next, before you compete, I believe most of these teams have already done this, but this is just registering and making sure your registration is paid. You have 2 adult mentors, and make sure every person that is under 18 legally has to have a parent fill out all the forms. So make sure you're getting that done before you show up to your first competition. And below are just the different types of events. We don't really have hybrid events a lot anymore, but now it's mainly just traditional, which are in-person events. So competition day expectations. So things to do on the competition day is you'll show up with your robot, and what you'll do is you'll check in. Usually they have a desk at the front. You'll have to hand them a team roster usually. It does vary by region, but I know in North Texas we do have to do that. Then once you get situated, they'll tell you a table, usually a pit map, and you'll get ready for your games and everything like that. Next, you'll need to inspect your robot to make sure it fits between the guidelines. And if you're not exactly sure about the guidelines, you can check the game manual, and there's multiple different resources for you to be able to look at that. Things such as like material limitations or sizing requirements. There's in a field inspection and robot inspection. Then you go to the driver's meeting, which more details can be found in the main game manual, but it'll tell you things like penalties, how the referee will work, your expectations during the meet. Make sure you're here 1 to 2 matches before each match that you play in, and things like that. Then you have your matches where, again, they'll explain all this information in driver's meeting. So make sure you're paying attention and listening to when they say that'll come, and make sure you're listening for when it to be pointed out. Then you'll have the alliance selection, which is where I believe this is a little bit of old information that we forgot to change, but the top 8 teams, depending on how many people there, again, that can be checked in the game manual 0, they will be picking one other team to join their alliance, and you will play in a bracket. There'll be a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket, and you'll advance as you move forward. Again, more information can be found in the game manual. Then awards and closing ceremony. This is just the final event of the day where they talk about the awards that you finished during judging. So, robot game basics. So, some of the basics are the autonomous period. So, each game is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, this includes an autonomous period with only pre-programmed instructions. You are not allowed to touch a controller during this 30 seconds. You will incur penalties and can even get yellow and red cards. Then, there's a 2-minute driver-controlled period in which there's usually 1 or 2 drivers that operate the robot with controllers to do the tasks during the season. And that last 30 seconds of that 2-minute period is called the end game, which certainly has separate tasks. This year we have things like hanging, level 1, level 2. In previous years, you've had to launch paper airplanes and things as such. And yeah, and how these matches work is it's a 2 versus 2 alliance. So usually each event has 5 to 6 qualification matches, and your alliance partner for one match could be your opponent for another match. So you play with this one team, and it'll always be a different team every single match, and you'll work with them to score more points than the people that you're playing against, which is 2 other teams. More can be learned, of course, in the game manual. Penalties. This is a big thing that many people can incur. Minor penalties are 10 points that go to the other alliance, and major penalties are 30 points and can, again, go to the other alliance partner. Again, if you have questions about this, please ask your referee. There's always a question box, and make sure you're just asking at the driver's meeting whenever they have questions there. Yellow cards, red cards, again, these are just given to people who and teams that are doing things they're not supposed to over and over and over again. So just make sure you're listening to the referees and not doing anything wrong. So this is a little bit more on engineering portfolio. So this is a guide, by the way. It's called FTC Simplified. So more information can be found in the description. We can provide the link. And this is the engineering portfolio. Every team, you're not required, but to qualify for any judged awards, it is required to have an engineering portfolio. And this has a link for the different engineering portfolios that you can see online, examples of it. And for instance, this has things like your CAD of your robot, the iterations, overviews of your outreach events, different things going through there, and discussing it that way, which can also help. You can cover a lot of your cover a lot of your awards in here. Like, you can talk about your programming, which can qualify you for the control award. Mentorship, or you working with other teams and qualified people in the industry also goes on the Connect Award. Your local community outreach and international outreach also helps with your outreach award for Motivate. So finally, there's judging. So judging is a 3-step process where you give them your portfolio, and they interview you. You usually give a 5-minute presentation, and after that, the judges have a 10-minute question-answer period where the judging panel can ask you questions about things about your robot. And remember, this is a first impression, so make sure you're rehearsing this and knowing everything about your team, your robot, and make sure you're saying correct information. Make sure everyone on your team has the chance to speak, and nobody's being silenced. And practice makes perfect. Again, you could practice a script and have people read off the script and memorize it. That by the time they're in judging room, nothing goes according to plan. Everybody knows what they're supposed to say. So just through there, that should work, and you're set for your competition. So thank you for listening to this introduction to FTC and the competitions. Good luck.